We begin with breaking news tonight. Another day of wild weather across western Washington. Heavy rain caused the region to be cut off from the rest of the state, flooding homes and businesses and forcing evacuations. In the mountain passes, I-90 still closed with more snow expected tonight.
Flood warnings have been ordered for 5 counties, and the National Guard is being brought in to help. We have team coverage tonight. Good evening. I am Steve Solis.
I'm Mark Wright. So rising rivers in Lewis and Thurston counties caused Interstate 5 to be closed in both directions for hours this morning. The freeway is back open tonight, but the flood risk for thousands is not over yet. King 5 Drew Mickelson live in Rochester tonight, where rescue crews are on standby. He begins our team coverage tonight. Drew.
That's right, Mark. Here in Thurston County, the Chehalis River is still rising. It's expected to peak at about 3 this morning. So those dive teams on rescue boats will be patrolling out here all night long. Down in Lewis County, the trouble started this morning.
It's probably a good 8 inches, 9 inches in the sub-basement.
Mother Nature just won't give up.
Water came pretty quickly, as long as with the melting snow that we had last week.
In addition to homes, the floodwaters are causing problems for drivers who don't realize how deep the water is and can't turn around in time. In the morning, when the water started creeping onto I-5, the state closed a 20-mile stretch of the interstate in both directions, just in case the floodwaters submerged the lanes.
I was about to go for it.
Without any good detours around I-5, some did risk the high waters to try to make it to on-ramps before they were closed.
Yeah, there was an officer here earlier blocking the roads, and he said Centralia is pretty much on their own.
But by 1 p.m., the interstate was back open as the rivers started to recede.
We started last night getting anything that was of importance out from underneath the house and moving vehicles across the street.
But flooding is still a concern in Lewis and Thurston County, where history is repeating itself.
In '96, it flooded and we had about 4 foot of water in our house. And then in 2007, we had 4.5 foot of water in our house.
But for Mary Squibb, this year's threat is not as big a concern. She moved her home to higher ground.
It was a grant that we got through FEMA, and so we raised it 9 foot so that it wouldn't get in the house again.
So that homeowner will be high and dry tonight, but the fire chief here in Rochester says the same may not be said for the 100 or so homes along the Chehalis River. Live in Rochester, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
A shelter is open for anyone needing a place to stay in Lewis County tonight. The shelter is at the Centralia Middle School. Cots, blankets, snacks, all available there. Staff with Lewis County and also the American Red Cross are on site to help.
It is believed a man near Cosmopolis drowned in this morning's rising floodwaters in Grays Harbor County. The sheriff's office, department, got a call from the 72-year-old's wife this morning. She said her husband went to move their car to higher ground as the floodwaters were rising. And when firefighters arrived at that scene off of North River Road, there was no sign of that man or his car. They believe it was washed away, and that man is now presumed dead. Cleanup is underway in East King County after Issaquah Creek crested, reaching flood stage and sending water into homes. King 5's Eric Zuko joins us live from there now. Erica.
We just spoke with the owner of this house where you can see the yard is flooded, and he says some water did seep inside. Right now, the city of Issaquah says it is still assessing whether a log jam contributed to the cresting of the East Fork of the Issaquah Creek. But one thing is for sure, that rain came in fast and neighbors came together. All around Issaquah, what the rain left behind is a sight to see.
This is just terrible.
But it's really something else. On the street Pam Rockcastle calls home.
Dogwood, Northeast Dogwood, yeah.
It's a street where neighbors know each other.
Dana, who lives just one house over there for
probably 35 years.
We actually went to high school together.
Long time.
And see, hey Izzy, yep, that's Izzy. In shorts.
I used up all my boots and pants last night. I was like, I don't know. What else are you gonna do?
That's just how it is. I mean, it's like family.
So when the creek started rising,
it's a lot of water.
They headed outside.
I'm telling you, my neighbor Spencer.
Yeah, hopefully it lets up a little bit.
Some of the other neighbors, we rally around.
We tried to get these sandbags to at least divert it back into the creek a little bit.
And as they filled sandbags, the rain kept pouring.
I've been here for 10 years, never seen anything like it. Usually the creek can take it.
The creek couldn't take it.
Unfortunately, I feel like we got hit the hardest right over here.
And when it spilled over, their minds went to each other.
Dana on the other side,
It's been a little time in the neighborhood. You can see.
she's actually lower down, so she's on the crest of the creek.
If it had crested later, we would have been in trouble.
It was really a close call.
Yeah.
But luckily,
Got very, very lucky.
it stopped short.
But a lot of that also really is my neighbors.
As for all this,
Could be worse, could be better, but it's okay.
they'll handle it together.
Wonderful neighbors. Yeah.
And as for what's next,
It's starting to wrap around a little bit. Luckily, it's dying down.
I think the worst is over for sure.
the city says that if the forecast holds, they aren't concerned about more flooding tonight, just dealing with all of this. Another concern was the hatchery. I am told tonight that the creek did not rise in that area and that the salmon and the eggs are safe. Live in Issaquah, Erica Zuko, King 5 News.